was just a kid in 1964. A few things happened out here in Australia in that year. The Vietnam War was raging. Apparently a couple of our battleships had a collision. Then the Beatles came to town and, well, that was just mayhem. And then we have the birth of a unique motor car. It's called a Mustang. On day 17 of April 1964. Now the Mustang has all grown up. It's quite a machine. Mechanically, well, they're strong. They have to be. There's people out there who insist on doing stuff like this. They can still brake, but it will take a hell of a beating before it does. They are designed to do this. It's called line lock or launch control. The Australian government banned this in Australia, so that feature was electronically disconnected, much to the dismay of petrol heads out here. Speaking of, check out this bloke, would you? If you really want to take your mates for a ride, you can stick them in the back seat. Just make sure they've got no neck and no legs, they should be fine. It all seems rosy now, but there was a time when the very future of Mustang was at stake. You see, Mustang had a best friend, and that friend is called petrol. They just love each other. This icon came close to extinction due to a crisis that developed in the mid-70s. It became known as the energy crisis. The company had to apply the brakes on this V8 powered machine, and it was reduced to a mere shadow of what it used to be, a V6 Mustang or even a 4-cylinder Mustang. It was a very poor resemblance of what it used to be. So what started out looking like this, and this, and the next model, became something that just looked absolutely plain awful.
What? Are you serious? Australians wouldn't be caught dead driving around in something that ugly.
So we just made our own. We made them, we drove them, and we raced them. Finally, around about 2012 or 13, someone at Ford came to their senses and Mustang went back to its aggressive stance. That romance between Mustang and the fuel industry continues to this very day. Is the car safe? Well, the vehicle comes with a reputation. It seems to attract a certain kind of individual. So if you're a young bloke or an adrenaline junkie, you might want to give this one a miss. Buy yourself a Prius or something like that, because in your hands the car certainly is not safe. Consider this. The Mustang weighs in at just under 2 tons. This engine can move that weight from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just under 5 seconds. Is that dangerous? It can be. We won't go into how this engine was called the Coyote. That's for another time. What we do know is that it wasn't just dreamt up overnight, put together, crammed under the bonnet, fingers crossed and hope it works. It was developed over many years, tried and tested before it was released to the public. That learning curve that started all the way back in 1964 came to fruition here in this engine. Well, we need to have a serious talk about this transmission. It's the infamous MT82 transmission. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth is overdrive. Or you can go first, third, fifth, sixth, providing you keep your revs between 2,000 and 3,000 revs. In excess of 700 horsepower, there may be issues, you can opt for a Tremec or some other transmission. There were issues between 2018 and 2020. I believe they have been resolved. My opinion is that most problems are driver related. I've seen people break these things, and these are a good transmission. It's not the gearbox that's the problem, it's generally the driver. One more issue that some people confuse as being a transmission problem, but it's really a clutch issue. Under high RPMs, it's a phenomenon called lockout. When you try and go from second into third gear, it can lock you out under high revs. It doesn't happen all the time, but it occasionally does. It is not a transmission problem, I believe, it's a clutch issue. Most people opt for a higher quality clutch, such as a Mantic. Well, it's time to talk automatic transmissions, and we start with the year 2015. Between 15 and 17, the Mustang was fitted with a 6-speed automatic transmission, known as the 6R80. This was a very good transmission. It was based on the ZF design, and it was capable of handling some very high horsepower. In 2018, the 6R80 was replaced with the 10R80. This was a joint effort between Ford and GM. That in itself is a worry. It continues to this day. For me, the 10-speed was boring, always changing gears. I call it schizo. A 10-speed concept in a motor car is totally unnecessary. Extremely complicated and therefore expensive to fix. I would opt for an 8-speed ZF any day. The ride is good, but remember it is a sports car, so it has a slightly stiffer suspension than your normal SUV or run-of-the-mill motor car. I must admit, when I first sat in one of these, there was a level of apprehension. It felt like you were in a cocoon or a confined area, which it is. Coming from a 4-door sedan to this took a while to get used to. My initial concern was what happens in the event of an accident where the structure is compromised due to an event and you can't open the doors. What if the vehicle is on fire and the doors are jammed due to damage? What happens then?